Charcot's bad idea. Portrait and the diagnosis. Science must begin with myths and with the criticism of myths. Karl Popper. Patients often present to doctors with illness for which there is no obvious organic explanation despite investigation. Historically, medicine lacks a tradition of ignorance, and there is a tendency to suggest explanations for illness and treat the patient accordingly, even when these explanations and cures are bizarre and absurd. Examples in the medical canon range from the leeches and bloodletting of the ancient Greeks to the lobotomy of pre-1970s neurosurgery. Illness that is not easily explained can challenge the hegemony of medicine. Patients and others can see the psychiatric referral that often follows as a means of controlling this threat to the physician's authority. For how, after millennia of progress, can medicine itself be deviant or deficient? Perhaps as a result of this tradition, some contemporary thinkers in neuropsychiatry, Manu, Sharp, Wesley, and others, place the blame on the patient for their illness, or more specifically, the ideas held by a patient about their illness. In relation to chronic fatigue syndrome, Sharp writes, inaccurate and unhelpful beliefs, ineffective coping behaviour, negative mood states, social problems, and pathophysiological processes all interact to perpetuate the illness. It is in this curious statement that a key argument of this book can be found. For in effect, what Sharp is doing is privileging unexplained somatic symptoms as distinct from classical disease entities, a view that can also be found in the National Institute for Clinical Excellence, NICE, championing psychiatric therapies such as cognitive behavioural therapy for chronic fatigue syndrome, but not for multiple sclerosis. It is natural to assume that unhelpful ideas might be tackled in coping with illness. It is obvious also that social circumstances do have a profound impact on the prognosis of disease, especially in emerging economies. But what Sharp is claiming is in reality something quite special. He claims that the ideas held by a patient can actually perpetuate the course of an illness. It is not through treating or diagnosing the pathophysiological processes that a patient might get better, but by denouncing their own belief system and coping mechanism in favour of those ideologies Mike Sharp, the therapist, or other physician deemed to be superior. If the patient does not improve, then the question must be asked, if organicity cannot be blamed, then who or what is to blame? That this system of ignoring pathology could actively denounce organic investigation in favour of a talking cure was given voice by one of Sharp's colleagues, Professor Peter White, in a You and Yours broadcast on chronic fatigue syndrome, transmitted Monday, 5th November 2007. The interviewer asks, "You mentioned tests that you don't think it's right for you to do, such as?" To which Professor Peter White replied, "Such as the tilt table test. I would have to exclude a condition called POTS, where the blood pressure falls on standing up. I don't think that's justified." To which the interviewer says, "So you think they're unethical because they're too demanding?" And stunningly, Professor Peter White replied, "Yes."